Hi everyone, my name is Garrison Anderson. I'm a marketing on the marketing team here at Matter, and I support the venture acceleration team. And today I want to thank you all for attending our Matter membership info session on the different memberships that we offer to startups and details about them. I'll pass it off to Mike McGarry, who's the Senior Vice President of Venture Acceleration at Matter, and he'll kind of dive into what we'll be talking about today.
Fantastic. Garrison, thank you very much for the intro. Good afternoon, good day, everyone. Thanks for joining us. As Garrison mentioned, I'll run through at a high level a little bit about Matter, kind of who we are, what we aim to do, as well as some of the details about our membership structure for startups. I think we're going to have a manageable size today. So if you have questions either throughout the presentation or thereafter, plenty of opportunity for some Q&A. So don't be shy. Put your questions forward either through the chat or feel free to come off mic and just ask questions. All right, healthcare entrepreneurship with Matter. First and foremost, our mission. So we're a nonprofit. We're based in Chicago, but as we'll talk about a little bit later, truly have a national, if not global, reach. But we're anchored in the Midwest and definitely have a strong presence there, but really represent healthcare around the globe. Our mission is to accelerate the pace of change of healthcare. We do that primarily through our work with startups, but also engaging a broader ecosystem of health systems or health industry stakeholders, including customers, investors, and other stakeholders such as legal firms, privacy and data security, all the resources that our members and our startups need to grow their business. And we'll cover that in a little bit more detail later. Our core belief, collaboration between entrepreneurs and industry leaders is the fastest, most effective way to accelerate innovation, advance care, and improve lives. And I hope that comes through really loud and clear through the discussion today. We're really about community, first and foremost, not only identifying the right resources or the right support for our members, but also really bringing together a robust community around healthcare innovation and leading the healthcare industry and change. So community is a big word, and collaboration, convening is core to a lot of the activities that we do at Matter. We're going to focus today on, our model really encompasses three primary areas. We're going to focus on startup incubation today, but just so that everyone's generally aware of the broader Matter initiatives, we have a really robust corporate innovation program. The team on our partnership side works to really drive innovation within our large corporate partners. These could be health systems, large pharma companies, large foundations. For example, we just closed one up with the American Heart Association, for example. And there's a little bit of overlap there, right? The programs aren't mutually exclusive. And if there are some questions about accelerators, please put those forward. But separate programs that we run at Matter, and they're not mutually exclusive. So you can be a part of the venture acceleration program, a member within that community, but also participate in the accelerators that we run with our corporate partners throughout the year. We tend to run about 10 of those a year. They're very problem statement specific though, right? They're usually addressing a very specific market need. If and when there's a good fit, we absolutely encourage our members to participate in those. The other area, and I hit on lightly though, this notion of a community nexus and bringing together not only industry executives, but entrepreneurs, investors across the board, either trying to build direct relationships or bridges between those various stakeholders, but also host a number of events. Some of you may have had the chance to participate. For example, we just had our coffee co-working and connections this morning. We run those once a month. Just one example of ways we really work to bring together the innovation ecosystem. Startup incubation, we'll talk about that a little bit more here. Quick background on Matter. Matter is the largest community of healthcare innovators in the US. Snapshot of sort of where we've been and what we do. Well over 1,000 startups from across the globe that we've supported from our inception about 11 years ago. We work with 150 or more industry-leading hospitals, organizations, universities. Collectively, the startups that we've worked with have raised billions of dollars in capital. And when you look at to the right side of the slide here, startup sectors, Not by any choice. We really don't have some other accelerators or incubator programs you might be familiar with. They address things that I might call moonshots, where they're like, we're looking specifically for cancer therapies or digital health therapies. We don't operate with those boundaries in the work we do, and so when you look at the startup sectors that we have, digital health, about 65% of the companies, digital health companies. That's really a reflection more of where the market is than any intentional consolidation of companies on our behalf. 20% life sciences, 10% services, 5% consumer and other. So really a strong history and representation of digital health in our portfolio. The partner sectors that we work with, about 30% providers, health systems, 25% life sciences organizations, 20% associations, and then the remainder kind of a mix of payer and university partners that we work with across the ecosystem. As mentioned, from 2025, really a global footprint, 272 startups that we work with across the year, representing 75 cities and 11 countries. Large percentage are US-based organizations. The companies that we work with outside the US, don't know if we have any represented today, oftentimes a little more established in their local markets, and they're looking to either adopt their business model to a US market or establish a beachhead within the US market. The Matter membership experience. Our approach, we really work to support entrepreneurs in a handful of ways. First and foremost, building business capabilities, aligning you with the resources, mentors, advisors, and others to really help entrepreneurs build their business capabilities, understand the market. We get a lot of founders from outside of healthcare. These could be technical founders. Maybe they've already created a solution in fintech or in the financial world, and they're looking to apply that to the healthcare market. So we really help them understand how you navigate the market. Develop fundraising capabilities, a big part of what we do. We've got a network of just over 200 venture capital firms that we work with. To be clear, Matter is not a fund. We do not directly invest in, nor do we take equity in the companies that we work with, which is a slightly different model than some of the other accelerators or incubators you might have learned of or are familiar with. So the way that we work to support our members is not only preparing them to fundraise, that could be through activities as simple as reviewing pitch decks, to really getting into the nitty-gritties around go-to-market strategies or defining a real clear value proposition. So really help build an understanding of maybe gaps in your business, areas that you need to address prior to getting in front of investors. And when ready, we work to engage our members with that network of investors. And then finally, learning from the best in healthcare. We've got an extensive network of advisors, mentors, and others with really deep domain expertise and broad knowledge of the U.S. health system, and how to position technologies within that ecosystem. The journey is pretty straightforward. We recognize that as entrepreneurs, as startups, especially if we have any first-time founders on the call today, can sometimes be a daunting journey. We try and make it as frictionless as possible. We do have an application process. What we're really looking for there, though, is fit, right? Not because we don't invest, we're not doing the diligence that an accelerator, an incubator would be looking to if they were making an investment. So what we're really looking for is fit through both the application and the interview process. Are the services, the community, the networks that Matter has, is it aligned with the needs of you as a founder, you as a startup? If there is a good fit, we have a really quick onboarding, assessment, and discovery process to get you into the system as quickly as possible, get you connected to and aligned with the right resources as quickly as possible. And then, we move on and work to help you build your business. Average membership, last time we ran the numbers, was about 28 months. So on average, we're working with companies a little over 2 years. And that is a reminder that, this really is a journey. It is a commitment, and it can be very challenging at times, but we work to support our members every step along the way. Big part of the programs that we have is in mentorship and coaching, 3 separate programs that we have here. The first we call our executive in residence. Every one of our members is assigned an executive in residence. These are individuals that have really broad experience in healthcare. They might have been a health system operator, for example, for 20 plus years. Could be serial entrepreneurs, have a really deep understanding of how to build businesses across multiple areas of healthcare. We do our best to align the needs of every member with the appropriate executive in residence. Not uncommon that this is an individual that becomes sometimes the first formal advisor or mentor that our members have. And again, not uncommon that they stick with you throughout your journey with Matter. Alongside that, we have our expert clinic, well over 100 mentors in the expert clinic. These are individuals that have deep domain expertise. Again, oftentimes, a decade or more experience, but more specific, right? They might be experts in go-to-market strategy, regulatory or reimbursement, privacy and data security. These experts and mentors are available to our members on a more ad hoc basis. So whereas you would meet with your executive in residence typically on a monthly basis, those conversations are much more strategic in nature. The meetings you would have with experts in the expert clinic are usually to solve a very specific problem. Hey, we need to get some clarity around our go-to-market strategy. We really need to get some clarity around our FDA and regulatory strategy and where we might fit. And so you can tap into those experts in the expert clinic on a more ad hoc or as needed basis to really help you address, certain challenges as they pop up on your journey. And of course, support from the Matter team, myself and others on this call. I've got Caitlin, one of our colleagues on the Venture Acceleration team, joining us today. But we've got a team, whether it's from marketing, operations, venture support, we're here really as your in-house experts, help guide you on your journey. Fundraising support, I hit this a little bit earlier on in the conversation. It's really about helping you prepare for fundraising. This is in and of itself a journey, not uncommon that we hear our founders like, holy cow, running my company or building my product is a full-time job, and I've got to do this fundraising stuff, which seems like another full-time job. So it can be a really, really challenging journey. It can take time. On average, it takes 9 to 12 months to raise capital. And so we work not only through our in-house team, but all of our experts, mentors, and advisors to really prepare you for that journey. First and foremost, making sure that the business you're building is well aligned to market needs, or how to best position your company to be aligned with those market needs. And again, once that work to support your pitch, to support your presentation is really rock solid, we work to connect you to the network of investors that we have in our community. We have a wealth of on-demand resources as well. These are really to consume at your leisure, if you will. Digital curriculum, our professional services directory. We've got a list of curated service providers that just, at some point, you're probably going to need expertise outside of your core team. These are either individuals or organizations that have aligned with Matter. They've been pre-vetted, trusted service providers that can help you navigate that selection process a little bit more efficiently than you might on your own. Our knowledge library, as well as mentor booking, all happens through our portal, which becomes sort of your digital touch point into Matter experiences. Dynamic community. We run member exclusive events. For example, we just ran one last week that was really well received. It was an individual that has deep expertise in healthcare IT, currently as a director of health IT at a large health system on the West Coast. And he really just pulled back the curtain and said, hey, when we're really evaluating solutions inside of a health system, these are the things we're looking for. This is how you're going to get an immediate no, right? If you come to a meeting with a health system and you don't have this, or you present in this certain way, it would be an immediate no. So incredibly insightful information, especially for our members, obviously selling into health systems. We run those typically on a monthly basis, sometimes a little more frequent, really try and address the needs of our community and bring those industry experts, industry insights forward in a very efficient way. And again, not only bring that information forward, but really work to create a dynamic exchange so that, robust Q&A sessions, and oftentimes the speakers that come forward and present to our members make themselves available for some one-on-one sessions, following their presentation. So again, really try and create a dynamic exchange of information, not just a one-way presentation. Matter, we do have a beautiful space in downtown Chicago for any of our members or those of you that might be joining today. If you're in and around Chicago, we absolutely consider it, sort of your headquarters away, home away from home, co-working space, meeting rooms, event space. We really work to make that space as lively and active as possible, even for our members that aren't. And as a reminder, about 70% of our members are outside the Chicago area. We have a handful of members, one in particular I was just meeting with yesterday. Their team is virtual, spread out all across the US. They convene in Chicago on a quarterly basis to have team meetings, right? So people use the space in very different ways. And of course, Slack channels and other opportunities to engage with other members. It's definitely one of our core beliefs that entrepreneurs sometimes have as much or more to share and learn from each other as you do from industry experts. We currently offer 2 membership tiers. Our select membership is $400 a month. There is no equity in that membership. There's no additional fees, meaning it's not, $400 a month, and every meeting you want to have with an expert in the expert clinic is an extra $10. None of that, just sort of a one and done straight monthly fee. And it's month to month. As again, recognizing that sometimes budgets are tight. The focus on your startup can ebb and flow. You're going to have good times. You're going to have tough times. We try and be as flexible as possible there. So when we say month to month, there's no minimum commitment. You don't have to sign up for a 1-year membership or anything like that. So we really try and flex and meet you where you are on your journey. All of the services that are included in the select membership are really what I've talked about to this point in the presentation. So I won't repeat those, but you can see them listed on the right-hand side. We do offer what we call our Flex membership. It is free. It's really an effective way to just dip your toes into the Matter community. Again, no equity, no fees, but there's also no personalized support. As you can imagine, to manage a network of, well over 150 experts, 200 investors, fair bit of energy and effort to do that. And that's where the membership fees, cover the cost to maintain that network and that community. Flex membership doesn't have that personal support, the EIRs, but it does have lightweight access to our expert clinic. You have access to, Caitlin, correct me if I'm wrong, about 15 experts in the expert clinic that you can set some meetings with and just get a flavor for that, get some early support for your business. What it really does encompass, though, is all of the digital assets that we have, the digital curriculum, knowledge library, professional service directory, et cetera, are all available to our Flex members. Again, a great way to sort of dip your toes in, get connected to the Matter community at virtually no risk, no cost to you as a member. And with that, I'll conclude sort of the formal presentation about Matter, but open it up to any comments, questions that you might have. Just building on the question around the applications, though, not only are they on a rolling basis, it's all about timing and fit, for you as entrepreneurs. So if it doesn't seem like a good fit today, again, there is no cohort-based sort of time pressure that you got to get your application in by tomorrow sort of thing. If it doesn't seem like it's a good fit today, we're here and we're here to support. Our mission is to accelerate the pace of change in healthcare, as we mentioned early on in the call. So if it doesn't seem like a good fit today, if later in the summer, we'll still be here and here to support as best we can. So we try and be the best partner we can and really meet you where you are in your journey. My only closing comment there.
Awesome. Well, you'll get the recording soon, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
All right. Thanks for
Thank
joining
you
us.
so much, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.